Welcome to Crossroads and Callings. I am your host, Chimere Brown, and this is the place where we meet inspiring individuals who share their pivotal crossroad moments that led them directly to their purpose and calling.
Yes.
Today, I have the distinct pleasure of hosting the glamorous and insightful Eunice Vashti. Yes? Okay, welcome to the show.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I think you are just a beautiful spirit with a wonderful story of resilience. And so I'm grateful that you're in a place where you're ready to share.
Yes.
And that you trust me with that.
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. But my thoughts go back to that conversation we had. And what I love is anytime we get together, it's like instant, like sister catch up.
Yes.
Like we have a 15-minute roundup. And it was just really good to connect with you and really speak from a place of victory.
Yeah.
Transition looks different on everyone. And I know a lot of people didn't know, but as a friend, you did. And I appreciate you just being really warm and accepting of kind of where I was coming from. And to be here today to really celebrate that, I just thank you and want to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you
so much.
I'm excited for them to hear your story because you inspire me. And I think that's the purpose in which God allows us to have the life experiences and life changes.
Yep.
It's not just for our edification, but it's for other people to learn and move forward in their own healing processes. So we're gonna jump into it. I'll give the audience a bit of background about yourself. Eunice is a creative at heart and a strategist by trade, which is an immensely powerful combination. She is a fourth generation tailor with over 17 years of experience shaping global brands. But today, she leads partnerships for a luxury hotel group, managing teams across the U.S. and Caribbean. And on this episode, we will explore how she tailored a life of intention. Crossroads and Callings starts now. So where I want to start with your story is I want to know what grounds you and where your foundation lies. So when I ask you the question, who is Eunice Vashti, how would you respond?
The first word that comes to mind is I'm a light.
Yeah.
I know that today. Sometimes we struggle with who we are, and it has always been kind of spoken over my life. My name, Eunice Vashti, means happy and victorious. My dad named me, so I knew that my life was filled with purpose, but you really struggle with how much of a light you are and where to shine.
Yeah.
And so first, I am a light. Second, I am a sister, a friend. I hold women very close to me. I come from a beautiful long lineage of praying women, God-fearing women. But I also am a really great sister and friend, and I have a beautiful community. I am an artist. It's kind of hard to say if I'm a painter or anything, but I'm an artist. I kind of see colors and style all the time in motion. I play around with tablescapes and floral arrangements and all of the things that kind of bring me peace and joy. But at my core, I know that I am a light, and I'm sent to this earth to share stories, not just ones of resilience, but also, to be a reflecting of God and his grace and his love here on this earth. So, yeah.
As a light, where do you think you shine the brightest?
I shine. I would have to say I shine the most in wow, that's a great question, actually. everywhere, I want to say. But
Okay.
I've always done really well in corporate rooms,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes being one of not many African American women in this industry, but I shine really authentically in corporate environments. I absolutely love, anything that has to do with like fashion and
Mm-hmm.
fashion shows. But yeah, all over in the world, I feel like my light really shines. But this one-on-one interaction, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I like the stage. I can do the stage. I can do presentations, but I really enjoy a one-on-one interaction.
I think intimate settings is where we can shine the brightest
Mm-hmm.
because you can put out all the noise. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, this is a sister
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
And I'm beholden of your light, you're beholden on mine. And I think there's so much honor
Mm-hmm.
in those one-on-one connections where we can
Absolutely.
both shine together
Absolutely.
without like canceling each other out.
Absolutely, I agree. That is our purpose, is to build and
Yeah.
connect and really be authentic and true. And I tend to find safety in moments like this where I can really, really shine.
I wanted to talk a little bit about you as an artist because you
Mm-hmm.
are a fourth generation tailor, and the
Yes.
first thing that comes to mind is like legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us some insight into like how you were raised in that
Yes.
family dynamic and
Yes.
groundwork of like craftsmanship, detail, and intentionality? Because
Oh
that's
my
what
gosh.
we're talking about.
No.
That really starts
Yes.
there.
It really does. And well, let's start off with where all of this began. So prior to me is my father and mother. My father is a tailor. He was known to be a craftsman and a cutter. It's one thing to sew clothes, but it's another thing to be an extraordinary cutter. And he was great at that. My grandfather, my grandmother, I have two great aunts, Aunt Ruth and Aunt Betty, who were very instrumental in tailoring as well. And so I've grown with women and men that were well dressed.
Mm.
They were coordinated all the way down, and I'm not talking matching colors. I'm saying whatever the inspiration was for that outfit. So there were head wraps and there are pendants. I remember being a small child and climbing up, when you're little, a closet feels so big, and I would climb all the way to the fifth shelf on the top and grab a orange kind of plastic bin. And in this bin were all kind of buttons, gold buttons, cloth buttons, padded buttons, buttons with stones and gemstones on it, and pendants. And I would just play with those buttons, take them down, get a safety pin because I didn't know how to put a button on at the time, and safety
Right.
pin them on my jacket because it meant something.
Yeah.
It was just the trend. But I also grew up in the church, and a Pentecostal church is very well known for what they wear.
Of course. Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
there's this book even out called Crowns, and it's all about the women's hats and how big they are and what they mean. So I observed graceful women in beautiful hats and just all of the things, very ladylike, legs are crossed. So it really shaped me into being a very strong woman. They taught you how to sit up and carry yourself, but also to dress well. And when you dress well, people perceive you well, which is this whole Black Dandy
Yes, the movement.
exhibit and movement that just completed. But I grew up, seeing men and women that dressed well and spoke well. The tailor shop experience, my first, I had to sweep up the scraps in the tailor shop. I just wanted to be with my dad and the other seamstress that were there. And I would just watch him and observe him. And there's such precision that goes into creating a garment and crafting it. So today I don't do a whole lot of sewing, but I still embody the spirit of creating full looks. And it has, followed me all the way through my career, even working with a Peruvian designer most recently. So, yeah, I've always been around really great style.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've probably seen my dad in jeans or something other than a suit 6 or 7 times in my life.
Oh, wow.
Like
Okay.
he's always in a suit. He's known for his suiting and tailoring, and my mother as well. And she was a model. She modeled all of his clothes. So I've always been around it. And it's shaped me into who I am today for sure.
Yeah. When you say Taylor, he was a cutter. Cutters have to be, like you said, precise.
They're very precise.
So did that spill over to you when it came to how you kind of envision your life and being thought out and planned? Because we're talking about intentionality, and when you're getting ready to cut, say, a pattern, you have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And because you just don't go in and just start
No,
making shapes.
No, you start with.
So did that kind of strategy and mindset kind of spill over to you how as a corporate woman? Because you made a transition from being a creative, coming from a creative family to being a corporate in the corporate setting. Is that a part of what makes you strategic and successful in your own right in a corporate setting?
Yeah, I mean, with being a cutter and with having precision, there are even down to the way you lay your pattern on fabric. All of that is intentional. The way you're cutting, and it taught me right away, one, how to take ownership of a space, of a place. This is my garments. This is my shop. So very young, I'm sweeping, and I'm an employee, if you will. But I took a very sense of ownership in being able to create wherever I am. And so, yes, that did follow me into corporate. I've always, again, just, had a nice little touch about my style. When you work for brands, you have to embody who their brand is or who they perceive their brand to be. But you also have to stay very true to yourself. So I've always kind of had my own spin. But in planning that, I must be honest, God's hand has been on me.
Yeah.
And that part I can't really speak to other than when I was in the presence of certain leaders, they recognized the leader in me and ensured, and it was always women, that opened the door for me to go to the next step or next place, and or spoke very highly of my performance so that I can get to the next place.
Yeah.
Which even with tailoring, it's a word of mouth business. If someone puts on a suit, you say who your suit is from, who's your cutter, and about your great experience. And it was very much the same way there. I had really great advocates for me and how I grew in this corporate world. So I was really blessed, but obviously you have a target, you understand what you want. I've always weighed my options on what do I enjoy and what do I need.
Yeah.
And so if I can identify what it is that I truly enjoy and what it is that I truly need, then the next step, there's no wrong decision, right? It just always works out in your favor. There's always something to learn. And then there's other places that you are to be celebrated. And I've found that to be my truth in the last couple of years.
Yeah. I feel like you have a really beautiful story. The fact that you've been able to thrive in a corporate setting, that you've had advocates, that you've had such a foundation in confidence, intentionality, and precision. But even in having beautiful stories, there can be some pitfalls and some ugly parts. And what I want to bring up is when I asked you what were some of your crossroad moments that we would talk about on today's episode, the first thing you said was suffering is a choice.
Yes.
And it took me aback a little bit because I'm like, okay, so there's a story here.
Yes.
And I'm like, and why is she yelling at me? Because like I hear suffering. Well, it just made me take authority over my own emotion that I was feeling at that time in that moment as I was working through and prepping for not only your episode but other episodes. But suffering is a choice. So now it's some accountability there.
Yes.
I really want to know what was the foundation of that?
Okay.
That statement, because it's not a moment, but it is a very short but yet powerful statement that
Yeah.
comes from somewhere. Could you
Yes.
give us some insight into that?
Yeah. I definitely will give you insight, but I also kind of want to go back a little. While I've had um, various experiences, worked for other brands where I helped to build that brand and grassroots, and then others that you walk into a brand and it's already ready. So I've had some really great moments, victories, and actually was promoted with one of a brand that I was working for to move to Florida, started a new life. Everything is great. I feel like, I'm graduating in the way that I'm doing things, the way that I'm approaching business, and the way that I'm building my team. And then I started to kind of, indulge in my own life and let me begin to date and all of that. Found a person that was the love of my life, and was in that relationship for a while, and it became a persona. Now I am a businesswoman, I am a wife now, so I'm checking off all of the things until all of that comes crashing down in a way. And it's, it is a moment that we all experience, and it really comes down to what you do in those moments. Like what is the posture that you take? And so for me, it was a huge ego death.
Yeah. Could you talk about the ego death and kind of, because people get divorced every day.
Yep.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't always end the way you want them to. But why was it specifically hurtful and impacting and like a death?
Because
to you?
I took pride in titles, and I took pride in role descriptions.
Yeah.
Those things validated me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are in a position where it is kind of taken from you, or that your title needs to change, that becomes very life altering, shaking. Who am I? Really a search. I don't know why you immediately get lost. Like it's almost an all or nothing kind of thing. Although this is just one area in my life that needed to change, it impacted who I was across the board. I thought I was a great partner. I thought I was a great communicator. I thought I was, all of the things. Well, it wasn't true, because in that moment, I needed to make a decision to go a different direction. So going back to suffering is a choice, I am in absolute shambles at this point. A lot of my community didn't know, friends included. Some family members didn't know. I have a really great friend, love him to death. And he called me one day, and it's just sad again. I feel like every time he called me, I'm just like repeating to him this pain and this suffering that I'm experiencing. And he said, Uni, suffering is a choice. And I was like, what? And he's like, suffering is a choice. You can choose to stay in this place of pain, betrayal, immense sadness, loss, or you can choose to take inventory of what is. And I was just like, yo, I'm gonna holler at you later. And he was like, yo, wait. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk to you later, because you're not getting it. You're not getting me, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm hurting, and you want to say this is a choice to be hurting?
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, it actually is. I'll talk to you later. I got off the phone. I was mad at him for days, and he reached out to me a couple of days later. I'm not talking to you because you're another person that don't get me.
Right.
Well, one day I woke up, and I did make a choice. I made a choice that this no longer was going to be my entire existence. This was a moment in time. I am going to look back on this 8 years of my life, take inventory of what I've learned, of who the woman that I have become, and I am going to do something different every single day. I think after a while, I just got tired. Like, suffering didn't change the circumstance.
Right.
Suffering only made me stay in my bed longer, not tend to myself, like, go through all of these troubles in silence. But I really wanted to, it was even like super angst to go on my social media. Like social media was triggering for me. Like everything was so triggering. And so once I made that decision, I remember praying and asking God to help me. And I cried one good old cry. I mean, I was crying a lot during that time.
But it's a certain type of cry.
It's a certain type of cry.
Yeah. When you know this is going to be my last time crying like this.
About this.
Exactly.
Not even just a relationship, but the death of the ego was the death of a lot of things. I mean, a lot of friendships I ended. Relationships with family members ended. Relationship with my then husband ended. Relationship with the community, I ended a lot of that.
Did it stem from the loss of the marriage? And then was it and then a domino effect?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain how are all of these working together? Because
I think, again, I lived to be the best, right? There's this sense of perfectionism, and it has followed me in my career, and I'm very gracious with myself today. A lot of those wins are just because I'm a perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to catch me off my square. I always got it together.
Right.
But once that relationship ended, it was so much of my life that I invested in that. And so much of my identity that when that came crashing down, I had to even look at where I was working at the time and the people that were my friends and the community that I was living in. I literally extracted myself and went in a completely different direction.
And it took the rose-colored glasses
off.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this probably a little later, but I think I should bring it up now.
Go ahead.
In those moments of, because there are signs, right? And so again, I'm a fighter, I'm a go-getter, I'm gonna champion this. I feel like I was going to champion this. I was going to be the best that I can do to help this relationship kind of develop in the way that it needed to go. But my true self were in my notes. Each time that I had a kind of a battle or a struggle, I would write to myself. Sometimes I would write to myself and never look at it again. And I think we have to, and we'll go back to this, but I think we have to pay attention to that voice. It's when your inner self is crying out to you, telling you how you really feel about something.
Yeah.
And how this is really impacting on what's actually happening around you. And yeah, I would put it in there because at the time I may not thought that my partner could hear me or that I can say what I wanted to say. So I put it in my notes and I said it to myself. Well, those were the truths that I had to revisit once all the rose-colored glasses were undone.
It was the ugly truth.
It was the ugly truth. And it was there. It was actually, I would say, the beautiful truth because they were my words to myself. So when I was really ready to deal with it, I can start self-forgiving because I knew all along.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I could go back to that girl or that version of myself and say, thank you for saying that to me because today these words resonate in a way that I never would have thought. And I never looked at those notes again until I was ready to choose something different other than suffering.
Tell me about how you got there, though, because you didn't... We talked about the good cry, and I know what that good cry feels like. But speak about the mindset shift that led to action.
Yeah.
Because you can feel like, okay, I made a choice, but now what gets you moving? What gets you off that couch and into the shower and combing your hair and putting yourself kind of back together again?
For me at that time, it was the sunrise. Any day that I can see the sunrise, I knew that it would be a good day. I spoke that.
So the light needed some light.
The light needed some light. I wanted to specifically get there when it was dark. I wanted to see the pink come and then the little bit of orange come up and then it gets brighter and brighter.
Yeah.
A part of that, that season of my life ending, I knew that I needed to be near the water. I got a little bitty, itty bitty apartment 2 blocks from the beach on purpose with the idea that the ocean. And the same friend, I love him to death. He says, you need to be near something where you can see abundance all the time. When you go to the ocean.
Who is this friend? Is he
His
taking
name-
applications? Because
Yes. Actually, he's an amazing life coach. He's been my friend since I was like 19. And his name is Marquise Hayes. I'll send him your information. I think you guys should have a conversation.
Yeah.
But he will always remind me, you need to get somewhere where there is an abundance. And so I decided I was going to get this little bitty apartment. So also needed to change my job because my job at the time was connected to my marriage. And it was just so much going on, so much change. Going to the beach every morning was an indicator that today was something fresh and anew.
Yeah.
All I needed to do was get out of the bed, even if that meant going in my PJs some days. Just get out of the bed and go watch the sun rise. If I can get to the beach and see the sunrise, and I can make it through the day. And so it was God's gift to us daily. His grace is given to us fresh and anew daily.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I fell back into any pattern or any thought or anything from yesterday. Today is going to be anew. And I'm going to give everything that I'm carrying over in my visit at sunrise. And I'm going to walk with confidence and know that everything is going to be okay. And it goes from one day to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until it becomes a habit.
Right.
And now I wake up at 6:30, and I don't live near the beach. I'm here in Chicago, beautiful Chicago. But I wake up every morning at 6:30 because that's the positioning and posture. But they also say that God speaks to you early in the morning when the world is quiet. And I find that most of my healing moments were at sunrise, before the city got busy. Your inbox gets busy, your phone notifications go off.
It's quiet,
it's
no
super
noise.
Quiet, no noise.
It's just you
and it's just
him.
Me, the waves, a few birds. I get chills right now because I have so many pictures of the sunset, and those were moments that really carried me over. Carried me over. And then once I go there, in sunrise all the time, now he's giving me a plan. So I had to make a choice first.
Okay.
And then I had to get something that helps to get my day going. Find what brings me the most joy, the most just
choice. Then find the joy in anything. Because that was the sunrise. That happens every day. It rises in the east and sets in the west every day. So
absolutely
found the joy.
And now let's write the plan.
Because now you're ready.
Now I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Every day. And I'm saying then, I thought I was ready. I was just like, I got this little bit of sugar. What can we do with it? Or this little bit of whatever, what can we do with it? And so now he's, okay, let's do it. So
I'm going to repeat those steps because the purpose of this podcast was to inspire and give people actionable how-tos. So those of you that are taking notes, that are listening in your car, even at the gym, just to reiterate on the steps that worked for Uni, that may work for you. She first made the choice. She found the joy. And then she was ready to write the plan. Let's start there, because it seems like you were getting ready to speak about like what writing the plan looks like.
Absolutely.
Like, I'll hand it back over to you. Walk us through that process.
I think it really first, he, again, my grounding, I would have moments of walking to the beach for sunrise, and I would hear my grandmother's voice or hear her singing, because she used to always sing in church. And it would just be old hymns about the goodness of God, And so I had to get to a place of, you gotta cut the noise out. Who you're talking to, what you're thinking. You have to stop talking. Like, stop. Let's do 30 days of silence. The only person you're speaking to is me, and you're going to hear your own voice as well. But the first thing we need to do is stop talking.
Wow.
Cut the noise. I no longer, and I had, 4 really great friends that I talk to every day. My community swarmed around me in a way that I never even thought that I needed, right? Because I also have never gone through anything so life altering. And I kind of hate that happened, but I'm also glad that it happened. Like, things happen, there are trials and tribulations that help to build us and make us better. Well, I hadn't had any trials and tribulations until this.
Okay.
And I'm also
okay.
Because I tend to, can move through decisions, choices, acceptance, non-acceptance. I can move through that.
Okay.
But something that was identity altering, like a trial that really required myself to die, or a part of me, like they say, divorces are funerals. They absolutely are. Like it was absolutely a death to that. But I had to stop talking about what happened, what I didn't have, the details of the situations, just anything that wasn't productive.
So you stopped reliving it?
Basically. I just stopped talking about it. And then so much so that in this 30 days of silence, I was like, I sent a group message out. My girlfriends can attest to this. Guys, I'm okay. I love you. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. But I'm going into 30 days of silence. I'm turning on my location, so you know that I'm okay. But I just need it to be quiet for a while. And each of them were like, absolutely, we'll check in with each other and you check in with us if you need anything. And so the first step was to stop reliving it. You got to let it go. You got to, if this is something that you want to move forward in, you have to stop talking about it. And trust me, I had a whole lot to say. I had my side. And this,
of course.
Listen, I needed to.
Because you could see what he did.
Yes,
like,
exactly. Clearly. But you don't know how this hurt me and how dare them and and all of the things. And I could do this and that. Shut up.
Yeah. Because it was giving it life. Now
Every
it's living and breathing. You kept pouring into it.
And not into like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you really want from this? Okay, you had that, right? So while there are, people that want to be married and all the things, you had the marriage, you had the wedding, you had the family, you did all of the things. You can check that off your list. Now, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And honestly, I realized that I have been shrinking in a position of all of these roles that I was carrying, right? To fit whatever it is that they wanted and what I think I wanted. But I was just finding like, I want to stand up straight. Like I want to
stretch your legs.
Stretch my legs. Yeah. I want to be the light that you created me to be.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get there? Not in the abundance of who I am and my ability, but how do I really get there from the inside out? So.
In that 30 days of silence.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because even when I say I don't want to be on my phone until noon, I can hear it going off. You have our knee-jerk reaction, especially in the morning. The first thing we want to do is pick up our phone. In that silence, how did you feel that air? Did you meditate? Did you read? Did you journal? Because there is a lot of people move and shake and keep it moving because they can't deal with that level of quiet. There's a certain level of quiet where it's just only your voice that people often run from and feel, and that's why they fill it with other things. So what did you do during that time?
Well, first thing that I did is I was obviously start my day off at sunrise, but I would go home and revisit the things that I wrote about myself and what I wanted to accomplish prior to any of this stuff happening. I will go back and read those things, evaluate them, take inventory. Is that really still who I want to be? Like,
Yeah.
does that still resonate with me?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that time, I will always read my notes. I'm a writer. Read my journaling. And in those things I will find, because at this point I'm empty, right? I don't know who I am in this particular season. I don't know who I am. But in reading who I had already written about, that's the girl I wanted to be. I wanted to be sitting here with you.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother like manifestation in it. But I want to travel the world. I want to open up business. I want to help women open up business. But first, before all of those other writings, I wanted to be whole.
Yes.
Right? I wanted to be healed. I wanted to break this curse that I feel like was placed on me or I'm dealing with. I wanted to break that curse. I don't necessarily think this specific thing is generational, but I think women deal with this self-inflicted negative talk, kind of like curse, this rummaging of just negativity, because we are so overly critical of ourselves. I wanted to get to a place where I felt really good about me from the inside out. My good, my bad, my opportunities, my wins, not even taking those too serious, just like everything, right? So I would first read and then I would write.
Okay.
So I took inventory. I had to go back to my own words, because I, in living out this life, we fill so many roles of what we think people want, but I needed to go back to who I thought I was. Yes. And so I wanted to be a faithful tither. I wanted to be a person that readed the word. I wanted to be a better sister. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to, again, open up these businesses, but all of those things. So and then I would write for an hour and write what I was grateful for. I always started off with what I'm grateful for, or I'm a dreamer as well.
Yeah.
So what my dreams were, the night before, what songs am I singing once I finish my meditation? And then obviously a little snack, a little food. But I'm either, just cutting at the time I was just cutting stuff out of magazines, just really trying to kind of piece together myself, because I'm reaching for everything.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get back into that creative mode. And then meditation, of course. I was obviously on a fast at that time. I was cutting anything that was a distraction that didn't feed. If it wasn't something that came, natural food, if it was something fatty or fried, I cut all of that out, just trying to clear out my space. Exercise was a big thing, but I also participated a lot in sound therapy. Shout out to my sound therapy family. I went weekly.
Yeah.
I knew that if I could make it to the next sound journey, that I would be okay. So not only was
your like when you're on the road trip and you have like, okay, stop at the McDonald's. That was your stop.
Feeling. Yeah, it was my feeling. It was my feeling. So Sound Journey was a huge, made a huge impact on kind of discovering who I am. But it also just helped me to clear out any energies. I truly believe that we carry these energies or identities, and you're beginning to flesh those out. But then just honestly sitting still. I think there's so much in just being still.
I can
go sit on your porch and sit still. Shut up and sit still. It's really nothing super innovative about what I did, but I committed to it.
Yes. That's the point.
And I committed to it. I committed to depositing things. Music was a huge bit. I was very careful about the music that I listened to. A lot of bossa nova, actually.
Interesting.
Bossa nova shifted my energy in the morning or in the day. It just gave me something upbeat, upright. I didn't listen to no love songs.
So it was like an instrumental?
It's very instrumental, but it's in Portuguese.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So my love for language and my love for travel. So I would listen to a lot of music. And I honestly, outside of all of the things, I slept a lot.
So you rested?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, I realized my nervous system was so jacked up.
Yeah.
And the only way to reverse that is to sleep. You gotta go to sleep. I was in bed, I think by 8 or 9 and up, because the sunrise was getting up at 6.
Right.
But I was sleeping.
You probably didn't know how tired you were because you were moving
Survival
so much.
mode.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So rest was a really big thing. I'm just gonna open up notes because rest and just feeding my spirit and energy. But I think a big part of it was not talking to people about what was going on in my life.
I like that you said there's no real rhyme or reason to it, but I want to highlight the fact that after you were stripped of all the things, the title, the relationships, that you still found a way to commit to the process of restoration. And I think that's what's important. That's what I want people to take away from your story, is that yes, I was stripped of all these things, but I was committed, not necessarily getting back to myself, but I was committed to being restored to the best version of me, to being whole and healed.
Yep.
I do want to talk about becoming, because your second crossroad moment that you shared with me was the becoming of boss, babe, and flight.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about like what that is?
Yeah.
And now that you are in your becoming process, what does that look like for you now?
Yeah. So one part of just that the restoration, there's also a part of like the release, right? So I've written, I'm doing all of the things, I'm feeding my spirit. I have to release all the rumors, the narratives. I just, because they're going to come back, right? When you are quiet, you are also listening to your own voice, and you're listening to the things as you're recounting. You like, but, no, I have to release that. Those things are no longer a part of me. But then the next part is to reintroduce myself, right? Okay. And so a part of reintroducing myself is, you are stepping into the unknown, and you have to be comfortable with, I think I'm getting to the best version of myself. I don't even know what she really looks like. I'm writing her down. I'm going to be committed to the process, but I also need to begin to reintroduce myself. But in this place, you start to feel a little better, right?
Okay.
You start to feel like, all right, I'm not crying. I'm not talking about it. I'm good. Yes. But we tend to think that that's the end. And that's not the end. It's actually an opportunity for us to be consistent and push through. And in this step, you're not picking anything up. You are getting used to what it feels like to be bare, to be light. And a part of that was travel for me. So like now I can be somewhere and not kind of go into a crying match if I see a mom and a kid, or a couple being affectionate, or whatever, all the things that I thought that I was lacking. Yeah. But in all actuality, I am rebuilding. I am giving myself an opportunity to be my own friend, right? Still 30 days of silence, not talking to anybody about anything. You guys can follow me on my Tracker, Find Me app. I'm okay. Here are all of my places and I'm going. But I was just like, if I'm going to have to be in silence, then I might as well get up out of this apartment and I'm going to get on a flight and began to write my story on flights. So flights and trains were my favorite. One of my first trips during that time was to Zurich to attend a women's conference where there were segments of silent days where we didn't speak. You go through this therapy and a lot of this, these different practices. But I began to just write my story while in transition, while, going from one place to another. And I liked the person that I was writing. It was different from the person that I was writing in my apartment. I really enjoyed the person that I was writing in the world. I was starting to talk about my favorite foods and how I wanted to learn how to cook a certain dish, or I wanted to learn different languages, and I'm starting to see style from a different perspective. So I do think that it's important to stay true to it, but I do think that at some point you should take a trip, even if that means getting in your car and going somewhere else, because who you are when you get there is not the same person that you are when you're in your home dealing with it from the start to finish.
That's true. I can agree. Sometimes that change of environment represents a change in mindset.
Absolutely.
It represents a change in heart posture. And sometimes you just need fresh air.
Yes.
In different energy, just a different vibe. And each country and each city has its own vibe.
Absolutely. And I want to say this: you don't have to leave the country to do that. I think going back to find your joy, right?
Yes.
What brings you joy? If it's a field full of daisies, look up what city got a field full of daisies. Like, go there, girl.
Road trip.
Like, we're going there. But as I began to kind of travel, I discovered that I really do like myself, and no wonder that person or that friend or whoever enjoyed having me, because I'm a good person, right? It's less of what they did to me or how this situation impacted me. Oh no, I really like who I am over here. And so I just began to spend more time traveling. And during this time I was thinking, man, I'm starting to get my footing. Should I move back home? Like, what should I do? And I actually tried to leave my job at the time, and they were like, absolutely not. What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to take a couple trips. And I mean, I could still work, like logistically, like I still can get it done. And okay, well, we can support you in that. And so this Boss Babe in Flight began because I was still looking for this boss babe, this person that I wanted to become.
Right.
And I was doing everything on flights. And so a lot of my travels have taken Puerto Rico and the States, obviously, Turks and Caicos. And it's given me experiences to have a little bit of me and then also work. So I can go show up as that boss babe, but then I get to stay in that area for a day or two and just really enjoy that area.
Yeah.
But I just began to really enjoy the girl that I was writing, or the woman that I was writing, when I was traveling. The quality and the descriptions were elevated.
Okay. So you saw yourself differently.
I saw myself differently. Yeah. So no longer was I like, I am a survivor. I am proficient in this and that.
Yes.
I enjoy the smell of cedarwood or Palo Santos, and I want to worship in temples and give God thanks. I just started to really write myself. And then after a while, I was just like, well, then let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go do that experience that you're writing about. And it has just really given me such confidence that not only do I build businesses, but I have the ability to build myself up and create a vision. I think, I got so caught up in creating plans and goals and reaching those, but what about me? And so in this moment, it has granted me like this opportunity to do that. Again, Marquise, my friend, and I called him and I remember this perfectly. I was like, yeah, so such and such and such and such. He was like, congratulations. What are you talking about? Congratulations. Now you can experience what is. And I'm like, but it was true.
Because what has been is gone.
It's gone.
So now you can experience what is.
Like I made the choice that I was no longer going to live in that. And it's not, even though that is a part of my story, it is not my story. And it was like so much of me was just like, but there was 7 years of my life, my 8 years of my life, my good years. You know how many beautiful years I have in front of me?
Oh my gosh.
And if I was to live it based on the girl that I'm writing, I'm good.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm great. Everything is perfect. So
I do want to ask you, from this place of like triumph,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think your purpose is now, and what is next for you?
Yeah, right now I'm enjoying the growth. Um, I'm enjoying kind of introducing things back into my life that I had
Yeah.
cut off. I think part of that 30 days of silence, and just I recreated that on so many in different periods of my last 2 years, because I would just say the last 2 years have been a lot of building. I'm just I want to continue to travel the world. I think retail and fashion and style is a big part of me. I love storytelling. I want to continue to travel and find different brands, artists, just manufactured things that are unique to whatever land I'm visiting back here. I think even if we can't see the world, there's a piece of the world that I can bring back for others to enjoy and they can take with them. But outside of continuing to build myself, I want to help to build female brands.
Yeah.
In this industry, it doesn't have to be so deep as like a full collection, but if there is something, a voice that you have and you want to put it out on the market, I want to continue to do that. And on multiple levels, on bigger platforms. But honestly, right now, I am really just enjoying how I've championed so many different things.
Yeah.
I'm an ex people pleaser. I'm proud to say that.
Welcome to recovery.
Thank you. And so I would always do too much. It's too much when you're looking at it now.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I'm like, I need to do this so that they know that they're important to me.
Yeah.
Right. Or so that they know that I value them. And so I'm selfish.
And that's okay.
And I love it.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
selfish.
It's like being on an airplane. You got to take care of yourself.
You got to take
first.
care of yourself first. Absolutely. So I think, I'm doing that, but I've moved into a part of being in hospitality. I've moved into food and wine and beverage, and I'm really enjoying where this is going. I put on cocktail events for food brands, and putting them in the same room with investors. I have a partner and we do that together. I love this networking element.
Yeah.
So just that opportunity to create more spaces where people can grow their business, and, have a great time as well.
For those women brands that are looking to connect with you.
Yeah.
And identify with you and just want to know how to take the first step, how do they connect with you?
Instagram, Boss Babe in Flight, or my email is uni@bossbabeinflight.com. Send me an email, send me a message. I'm really just that girl that loves to kiki, so I might be like, hey, can we get on the phone?
Yeah.
But I another thing I want to do is to make resources easy for businesses and women that are starting businesses. I think sometimes we have to jump through so many loops, and I'm not down for that. If I have what you need and I can get you what you need, let me put you in position to get that. So please send a message. You see me on the street, stop me on the street. It's not, I don't hold myself in that regard, but I do want to be a resource and a help to businesses that are opening, brands that are opening. If you have a brand already and you're looking to create your personal style and aesthetic, I can definitely help out with that. If you're in food and beverage and you're looking for a community that's based here in Chicago and beyond, I could probably assist with that. So it's just whatever you want to do. I look at myself as a sister and a friend. And so I want to take that approach in helping people build their businesses.
I love that. Now that you're taking care of yourself, now you can shine that light.
Yes.
And impart that light into other people. I want to end this segment because there are a lot of people that have been stripped away whose identity was based in maybe relationships or being the first wives club. I've met a lot of those ladies, or being based in being a mother or an executive.
Yep.
For those people that are maybe in their own season of silence and being stripping, Could you give them a word of encouragement or life or something that maybe even helped you get through when you were in your time?
Yeah. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Go easy on yourself. Like, nothing that is happening, and Marquis says this out to me all the time, nothing that is happening to you. It's happening for you. And in this, there is something to learn. Be kind to yourself in the learning. You're going to have to face a few truths. Be kind to yourself in that. Just be kind and gracious. Take your time. I think that, time, we look back at time and we're like, it's been 3 months, it's been 6 months. When do I? No, take your time. Like, get quiet. Get quiet on certain details and things about the situation, but pull on your community, because without my community, I would not have been able to make it through it. And I'm not talking about people, but just my sound therapy community and my close friends and my church community. And like, get close to the people that matter, that mean you well. And just really be kind to yourself as you discover. And then when you rewrite, write it big.
Yeah.
Write it bold. Write what you truly desire. I heard this once, that when you write, your vision that's in your mind has to go from your mind and it travels to your heart. You really, really, really feel it. When it travels to your heart, it travels down your arm into your hands. And when you're ready to write, you really only write the truth, right? So by the time it gets to your hands, it's really the truth of who you are and who you really see yourself to be. Write that. Yes. Don't be afraid to write it. And not in like, oh, I'm going to have $1 million. Yes, you will have $1 million. But what does it require for you to be today? And when you write that, tomorrow be that.
Yes.
It ain't no 30-day trial plan on how you're going to be this great person. Yeah. When you write that, be that tomorrow. And when you write it the next day, you be that. And so you just continue on. So be patient with yourself, but write it big and write it loud and be unashamed about who you are. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Uni, for bringing your light, your radiance, and your vulnerability to Crossroads and Callings.
Thank you.
I am certain tons of women will be reaching out now that you opened the door.
I hope so.
I hope you have an assistant.
Call me. I don't have an assistant. It's me and Jesus.
Because that overflow is coming.
No, it's coming. And look, I thank you for seeing that. I think even in the time that we saw each other, I was probably at level 4 of becoming, right? I know I'm like level 15 now, But you were so gracious. And I think one thing I love about you is that when we talk, you look me dead in my eyes. And I know that you are, you mean what you say and who you are, you truly are. And I just really thank you for giving me this moment to share. I ask for moments like this, and you have provided me with that. And so I just thank you for this moment and this time.
Oh, you make me cry.
No, I mean it. I mean it. I hope I did good. I mean, I'm not here for the performance of it, but I hope I was clear. And if someone has a question about anything, just like, let's talk. Yeah. But I think it's sometimes hard to really share from a place of victory, and you never compromise in that. And I just thank you for keeping this a victorious conversation and one of triumph and crossroads.
Yes.
So thank you so
this
much.
This is testimony service.
is.
We want to hear about the ugly, but can we shout at
Absolutely.
the end?
We
That's what this
absolutely
is
gonna
about.
shout.
We're going to shout at the end.
Yes.
To our listeners, please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as Substack. We are found on all podcasting platforms. I want to hear from you. What do you think about Eunice's story?
Yes.
Show her some love. Send us your crossroad moments. I would love to share those on our live feed. It's all about sharing and uplifting each other. Lastly, I would like to thank the National Public Housing Museum for allowing us to use their incredible facility. They have been a great partner to me, and I'm forever appreciative. But until next time, use your crossroads to find your calling.